Today we're talking about 10 simple daily habits to help heal your nervous system. If you constantly feel wired, tired, overwhelmed, or like you just can't relax, then this video is for you. Maybe your mind is always racing, or your body feels tense even when nothing is wrong. Or maybe, and this is like the absolute worst, you're doing all of the right things, but your nervous system is still stuck in that survival state. I want to emphasize here that this doesn't mean that you're broken. It simply means that your nervous system has been under pressure for a very long time. If you're new to this channel, my name is Dr. Bisleen Attli. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I've worked with thousands of patients one-on-one and helped them reset and regulate their nervous system state. And what I've seen again and again in my practice is that it's not the complicated things that are going to help reset and regulate your nervous system state. It's the simple habits that you do every single day consistently that completely change your life. So let's get into the 10 daily habits that actually help your nervous system state feel calm, safe, and regulated. I have my handy dandy clipboard and pen here with all the habits listed. So let's get into the first one. So the first one, such an important one, is to start your day off with calm. Okay, even a few minutes count. What I've seen so often in my practice is that those of us who have a very dysregulated nervous system state is that we're starting our day off feeling really rushed. And already we're starting our day off in a dysregulated nervous system state. And if you start your day off in a dysregulated nervous system state, well then, my friend, that is the foundation that you have created for the entire day. As much as possible, what you really want to do is you want to start your day off with a little bit of calm. So what does this look like? So one, as you can kind of see behind me, it's a little bit blurry, but right here, this is my sunrise clock. So this has been so profound in just helping me start my day off in a calm state. What I've done here is I've set my sunrise clock to start 10 minutes before my actual wake up time. So most mornings I wake up at 4:30 a.m. to make it to the gym in time, and I'll start my sunrise at around 4:20. And it's been such a nice, gentle way for me to start my day, because before what would happen is I would start my day off with the most annoying alarm clock ring that was in my iPhone, and I would like jump out of bed and already my cortisol would be surging through my blood. It was just not a very helpful and nourishing way to start my day. Versus now that I have this sunrise that starts like 10 minutes before my actual wake up time, it's just a more slower, gentle start. And then right before I actually get out of bed, I'll spend a few seconds in bed just taking 1 to 2 deep breaths and literally just expressing gratitude for the day and expressing thanks for just another life and another day that I get to live. And it's been such a beautiful way for me to start my day. Even if you don't have enough time, like you have zero time in the morning, like maybe you're a really busy parent and you have a really stressful job, that's okay. You can at least, when your alarm clock rings, take a breath in bed, express some sort of gratitude for waking up to another beautiful day, because I really think more of us should be doing that, and then get out of bed. And if that's the only thing that you do to start your day off with calm, then that's a fantastic start for you. If you tend to have a bit more time, something else that I always like to do in the morning is I do like to do meditation. So I like to do some sort of like 10-minute meditation in the morning, which is also has been so revolutionary for me to help me start my day off with calm. And then I head to the gym. Starting my day with movement has been one of the best things I've done for my nervous system state. So you need to kind of experiment and figure out, what does it look like for you to start your day off with calm, and then do it. Avoid just like jumping out of bed and then rushing to get ready, rushing to eat breakfast, rushing to get your kids out the door. All of this rushing dysregulates you so much. And what you need to understand too is that your cortisol hormone, which is your stress hormone, is the highest in the morning. This is what actually helps us get out of bed. So you already have this cortisol kind of surging through your blood that's helping you get out of bed. And now if you're starting your day off really feeling rushed and dysregulated, you're soaring your cortisol up even more. So look at how can you find these micro moments of calm. Maybe when you make your cup of coffee in the morning, you're giving yourself 5 extra minutes to just sit on the sofa and just drink that coffee in peace and quiet before everybody else in your house wakes up. So whatever that looks like for you, do it. Start your day off with calm, because starting your day off with calm sets the foundation of calm for the rest of your day. Right before I get into the next habit, what I really want to emphasize here is that this doesn't have to be complicated and hard. If the thought of starting your day off with calm is already making you feel anxious, you're probably already overcomplicating it in your mind. So take a step back and ask yourself, what does 5 minutes of calm look like in the morning? And start with that and then work your way up. That's what I had to do when I was really stuck in a dysregulated nervous system state. And then I worked my way up to build, really nice little routine for myself in the morning that works in the stage of life that I'm in right now. And that's the second thing I wanted to emphasize here too, is please create something depending on the stage of life that you are in. I don't have any kids right now. And so not having kids allows me to have room for lots of other things to do for myself instead. And if you are a parent who has kids or you have other responsibilities in the morning, adjust your routine for the stage of life that you're at and the capacity that you currently have in your life right now, and avoid comparing your routine to someone else's. Habit number 2 is having a minimum of 30 grams of protein with all of your meals. So revolutionary, because blood sugar dysregulation, not having the right macros in your meals, can actually dysregulate your nervous system state. So many of us are eating meals that are higher in carbohydrates and not as high in protein. And when we have meals that have an imbalance of carbohydrates to protein, aka more carbohydrates, you are setting yourself up for blood sugar dysregulation. So really big highs and lows in your blood sugar, and that's going to completely dysregulate your nervous system state throughout the day. Good luck trying to focus, trying to manage stress, trying to show up as the best version of yourself when your blood sugar is doing like all of this during the day, okay? It's never ever going to happen. So having enough protein with your meals is going to be the most life-changing thing that you do. What I usually recommend with my patients is measure your protein, because a lot of us think that we're having enough protein. So I'll have patients come in and be like, yeah, I'm having enough protein for breakfast. And then I'll be like, okay, what are you eating? And they'll be like, 2 eggs. And I'm like, just so you know, 1 egg has 6 grams of protein. So 2 eggs has about 12 grams of protein, and you're not even getting close to that 30-gram protein mark. So here's how I try to get enough protein in the day. In the morning, I'll have a protein smoothie, literally my favorite way to start the day, and that'll have about 30 grams of protein. And then on top of that, I will also have 2 eggs on the side. And so that'll be about like 46 grams of protein right there in the morning first thing. Sorry, 42 grams of protein. 45 grams, okay? We'll put it in that ballpark range. So that's already me starting my day off with a ton of protein. And then usually at lunchtime, I'll either be having some tuna, or I will be having, shredded chicken in my salad, or I'll be having sometimes ground beef. And so then I get a whole bunch of protein there. And then in the evening, I'll have some sort of like lentils. I'm South Asian, so if you're South Asian, dal, or some sort of, chickpeas, or, again, I'll repeat the same protein that I had at lunchtime, because I usually like batch prep a bunch of my protein. So then it'll be like shredded chicken again. So really just making sure that you're getting enough of that protein, and just make it simple. Stop overcomplicating it. I make it so simple. I rotate between a few different proteins, right? I rotate between eggs. I rotate between ground beef. I rotate between chicken, tuna or slash salmon. I love that as well. And then some sort of plant-based protein sometimes, like a tofu or chickpeas or lentils. And that's just on my rotation. I don't overcomplicate it. It does not have to be that hard. Choose a few different proteins you like and then just rotate through them every few days. That's how you're going to keep it simple. And I would highly recommend measure your protein out. You don't have to do it forever, but for the first week or two, actually measure your protein out, because then you'll start to see how much protein you're getting, because you'll be surprised. You think that, the X amount of chicken has enough protein, but then it doesn't. And you realize you're having half the amount of protein that you thought you were going to have. So measure out that protein. And if there's only one dietary shift you want to make, it's just 30 grams of protein with every single meal. And I kid you not, just do it for a week and just watch how everything in your life just changes, because now you're getting enough protein. Sometimes patients will come in, this is the only shift we make, and then boom, all their symptoms, everything's gone. And I'm just like, goodbye, I don't need to see you again. Habit number 3 is to avoid filling every moment with your phone and really learning how to be present. And side note, I'll be very honest with you, this is something I really struggle with. And it's something that I'm still working on today. And, part of that's also because I do so much social media work and outreach. And so so much of my business is online as well. But that's also a little bit of an excuse. And sometimes I find myself just randomly checking likes, comments, replying to people, and doing things throughout the day when I actually have other tasks to focus on. So I just want to start off with that bit of vulnerability. It's not about being perfect. And there's areas of my life that I need to improve and work on as well. And what I need you to understand is that this is all just a practice. So don't put so much pressure on yourself to have to be perfect. This is just a continuous practice, and it's just about getting 1% better every single day. And for me, this is definitely a big area for me to work on. What I really want you to understand here is that your phone is not restful and nourishing for your brain and your nervous system. Your phone is something that keeps your brain and nervous system in a stimulated state. And you might think, the few minutes you have between a meeting or while you're waiting in line at Starbucks or at the doctor's office, if you're going on your phone and you're just like relaxing and you're not really, you're passing the time go by and it's fun and you're watching these cute cat videos. But actually what you're doing in that moment is you're stimulating your nervous system more. You're stimulating your brain more. And anytime your brain has to process anything, it's on. It's constantly on. And what a lot of us are doing is all throughout the day, all of these little moments that we have during the day where we can check in with ourselves, sit with ourselves, tune in with ourselves, we're filling every single little moment with our phone. And then by the end of the day, we're wondering, oh my goodness, why am I so stressed out? Why am I so overstimulated? You're so overstimulated because every single moment of your day was spent on your phone. Every single free moment was spent with something that is stimulating you more. So of course you're going to be stimulated all day long. This doesn't mean you can't ever go on your phone, but what's really healthy is trying to find micro moments during the day where you can be off your phone and just be in the present moment. So for example, something that I've really started to do in my life is if I've ordered a drink at Starbucks, I don't just go and check my phone. I just wait. I just look around. Sometimes I people watch, I express gratitude for where I'm at, I think about what I'm going to do the rest of my day or a trip coming up. I just try to be there. And if I'm at the doctor's office waiting, I try not to go on my phone. I just sit and wait. And if you live in Canada, you know how long those waits can be. So that's a perfect time to practice all of this nervous system regulation work. And so we want to be trying to find moments during the day where we're not always on our phone. If I have a few minutes in between patients, I was notorious for just picking up my phone, checking messages, checking social media. And now I don't. I just sit with myself and be, or I'll deep breathe, or I'll set an intention for how I want to show up in this next patient visit and the energy that I want to bring this specific person, or think about what do I want this patient to leave with. Doing this throughout the day is going to be so much more nourishing for you. And I always want you to remember that your phone is not your friend. Your phone is not nourishing your nervous system. Your phone is dysregulating you more, and you need to start seeing the truth in that. And trust me, I wish it was different. I wish our phones were soothing for our nervous system, but they're simply not, and we need to accept that. Habit number 4, and this is something that I commonly see in everybody who has a dysregulated nervous system, is their inability to be able to manage their emotions. So part of healthy nervous system regulation, which is habit number 4, is learning how to actually feel your emotions and learning how to sit and be with them. The more that you try to numb yourself out and distract yourself from your emotions, and I get it, I know that these emotions can be so uncomfortable for us to experience, especially when we experience severe anxiety or depression or extreme levels of sadness or anger. They can be so uncomfortable for us to feel. But the more that we run away from our emotions, the more that we distract and numb ourselves from them, we're actually teaching our brain that these emotions are too difficult for us to feel, that these emotions are too hard for us to feel, and that we can't actually feel them. So it's really important that you take a step back, and when you start to feel an uncomfortable emotion coming up, before you numb yourself or distract yourself, go through this check-in process, okay? You can close your eyes while you're doing it if you want to, but invite the emotion in more. Let the emotion come in and call it up for what it is. Say that this is anxiety, this is fear, this is frustration, this is boredom, this is anger, this is stress, like whatever that feels to you. And as you sit with the emotion, I want you to start to ask this emotion and have like a conversation with it. Ask this emotion how old it feels. And part of this questioning actually comes from internal family systems therapy, which is all about learning to love all parts of yourself. So ask this emotion, what does it need? Or how old is it? And then ask this emotion, what is triggering it right now? Like what is causing it to come up? Right? If it's sadness, maybe it's someone didn't text you back. Or if you're really anxious, maybe because you're worried about something happening in the future. And then ask this emotion, what do you need right now? How can I support you? Maybe it'll tell you that you need a hug, or you need to sit and rest and lie down for 10 minutes, or maybe you need to just get off your phone, okay? That was me yesterday. And invite that emotion and ask it what it needs, and then actually give it that. Actually give it that. So whatever that is, emotion is asking for you in terms of how you need to support yourself, give the emotion that. And this is how you form a really strong relationship with your emotions. I want you to be someone who feels anger and goes like, come on, bring on the anger. Like, let me feel it. Let me support myself. Instead of being like, oh my God, I feel angry. I need to like run away from this. I need to suppress this. I can't feel this. I'm not allowed. And part of this is, of course, going to be a relearning, because if we haven't been taught how to, deal with our emotions, it's going to be relearning and reparenting ourselves as an adult, but you have full control over that. And the most beautiful part about this is that When you learn to love your emotions, when you learn to just sit and be with yourself and your emotions, you form such a strong bond with yourself. And that's what this is about. And it is so healing for your nervous system state when you feel, process, and move through your emotions instead of suppressing, distracting, and numbing yourself from them. Habit number 5 is learning how to structure your day to support a healthy nervous system. And by that, I mean incorporating breaks during your day. I used to be the queen of just overfilling my schedule, of literally, I would just go and boast to my friends that I work 12, 14 hours a day when really I was only actually working like 6, 7 hours, okay? And I don't even know what I was doing with the other time, but I would just like gloat and boast that I was working this many hours. And it was just so unhealthy for me. That's when my nervous system was dysregulated the most, when I was just overworking myself unnecessarily. And when I started to incorporate healthy breaks into my day, it shifted everything for me. So I like to structure my day in these like hour and a half, 2 hour chunks, and then make sure that I'm giving myself a 10, 15-minute break after these work chunks, whether that be by going on walks, which by the way has been the best way that I've been able to give my nervous system breaks during the day, right? Going on walks or doing meditations or just reading or just literally sitting and just looking out the window and just being and just, sing along in my head, la da da, as I'm just giving my brain a break from just processing and working and always thinking about all of these things. So really structure your day in a way where your nervous system actually feels good. You shouldn't be glued to your desk and your chair all day long. And oftentimes I find what keeps us there are some of these beliefs that we have about the fact that we need to work all the time. We can't take any breaks. And if you don't take any breaks, you're always going to be in a dysregulated nervous system state, because in order for our nervous system to bounce from the stress state to the calm state, we need to give it space to do that. But if we're constantly going to be glued to a computer, glued to a phone screen, we're going to keep ourselves in the stimulated state and we're not giving our nervous system micro moments to actually come down into the calm state. So look at your day and ask yourself, do you work best in like an hour chunk, 60-minute chunks, 90-minute chunks? Maybe it's like, 2 hour chunks, whatever it is. And then make sure after that chunk of work time, you're giving yourself at least a 5-10 minute break. You're going to notice a huge difference in your productivity, your focus, and just happiness and overall well-being, because you're giving yourself just more of these breaks and structuring your day in a way where you're supporting your nervous system throughout the day. And the moment that you stop doing this is a moment that you're going to notice yourself back in the stress state again. And so this is going to be something that you have to constantly work on, because we live in a very overstimulated world and society. The days that I forget to take enough breaks, I definitely find myself right back into that stimulated nervous system state. And let's keep going through it. So habit number 6 is no technology 60 minutes before bed. So I already went through the fact that your phone keeps your nervous system state in a stressed out, stimulated state. And what you need to understand is that when you are on technology before bed, your brain is getting the signal that it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So now tell me, how are you going to go to sleep if your brain thinks that it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon? It's not. You're not going to be able to go to bed. And because your phone keeps you in that stimulated stress state, if your nervous system is in the stress state before bed, your brain is getting the signal that you are under threat and you need to stay awake. And what's going to happen is that that's actually going to decrease the production of your feel-good hormone melatonin. So now melatonin is lowered, you're in that stress state, your brain's getting the signal, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so you're just not going to be able to get a good night's sleep. And the best thing that you can do is to put away all technology before bed and to do something that actually relaxes you instead. You should be doing activities that pull you out of the stress state and get you into that calm state instead. So what my nighttime routine looks like, maybe I should make like a video on this, is I will start a bath. I'll do my skincare routine, and then I will meditate for about 10 minutes as I do some prayers, and then I will essentially read in bed. And that is my routine. It takes me about an hour to do, and I love it. And my sleep is incredible. I haven't had a problem with sleep in years. And what I want you to understand is that sleep is very natural to us humans. Our brain and body need sleep. We need to sleep. And what's happened over the years is that we've just become so disconnected with our environment, so disconnected with the present moment, and our habits are just not supporting a good night's sleep. And if you can work on these habits, and the best one is just putting away that technology. And if it means you don't watch Netflix at night, don't watch Netflix at night. That's like a big thing for a lot of people because just it's like, oh my God, but that's self-care. But it's just like, is it really self-care? Because when you watch Netflix, you're numbing yourself, you're distracting yourself, you're not actually doing anything nourishing for your mind and body. And yes, sometimes that can be part of self-care, but I truly think real self-care is being able to get a good night's sleep and wake up and being able to show up the next day with lots of energy and being able to regulate your emotions and just feel good about your life because you had a good night's sleep. And so I personally, I don't watch any Netflix on the weekdays. I rarely do. And then, I will watch Netflix sometimes on the weekend, but weekdays I don't because I like to wake up at 4:30 a.m. And usually by the time I come home from clinic, it's like 7:30, and I'm just doing my wind down routine of taking my bath, my skincare, reading, meditating, and then I'm getting into bed by about like 8:30 and then sleeping so that I can get enough sleep and be able to wake up on time so that I can get to the gym in the morning before I start my workday. Habit number 7, this one's probably going to be just massively life-changing for you, is to regulate through movement. A big mistake that a lot of us make when it comes to our nervous system state is that we try to regulate through mindset. We try to regulate through our thoughts. You can't regulate your nervous system state through your thoughts. You must regulate through movements. We have to understand that dysregulation of our nervous system, that these uncomfortable emotions, they show up in our body. Dysregulation starts in our body. Our mind simply interprets it. If we want our nervous system state to be calmer, to be regulated, we need to first make sure our body is regulated. And the simplest and best thing that you can do for yourself is to just get up and move your body. Whether that means you go on a walk, whether that means you do 20 push-ups or squats, whether that means you do like sit-ups, or you just get up and you just do a few stretches because you've been sitting at your desk for a few hours, because you probably have been. Just simple as that. That's all you need to do, just to get up and move your body. The more that you can move your body, the more that you'll be able to regulate yourself. Everything in my life has always seemed better after either doing a workout or just going on a 10-15 minute walk. Everything has. You get so much more clarity on how to move forward, and things don't seem like as a big deal as they were when you were just sitting down and not moving. So regulate using your body. Get up and move. We know that as soon as we move our body gets a surge of all our feel-good hormones like serotonin and dopamine. Movement also helps your brain build new brain cells and connections. It's going to help you think clearer about whatever situation is troubling you that's in front of you. And you're going to end your walk or your movement session just feeling so much better and just so much more regulated, and like as if things aren't as bad. So regulate through movement, not through mindset. Habit number 8, this is a big one that a lot of us struggle with, and I still struggle with this one to this day. It's something that I'm definitely still working on, is to speak kindly to yourself. Self-criticism actually dysregulates our nervous system more. Think about it. If you have a little child and you're yelling at that child and saying all these mean things to it and putting it down, how dysregulated is that child going to feel? Probably a lot. Versus if we go to that child and speak to that child kindly and softly and give it love, how much more nourishing and regulated would that child's nervous system be? Probably a lot more. Kindness is how you're going to regulate your nervous system state. One of my coaching clients that I saw yesterday, literally, I told her, all I want you to work on for this next month is just to speak kindly to yourself and understand that what you're working on is a practice. There's no end goal. There isn't an end place to rush to. We're all just rushing towards our death. That's literally what's waiting for you at the end of life. So what are you rushing for? And when we start to just take a step back and see this as just a simple practice, just something that we're working on over and over again, we can be kinder to ourselves. It's just about being a little bit better. It's just about catching that awareness. And when we make mistakes, that is when you want to practice it the most. A week ago, I was driving to Toronto to work with one of my girlfriends. She has a studio space in Toronto, and I love driving there to work with her once a week. And as I was driving there, I parked my car, and I was just thinking about how I need to practice more self-kindness. And I really want to make this commitment to myself to practice self-kindness. I was like, Valentine's Day is coming up, thinking about love for myself. And I parked my car, and I parked the car, paid for parking, and then I was just like, oh my goodness. I didn't realize, but I took a totally different car today, and I don't have my usual car that I have. And because of that, I put the wrong license plate in because I'm so used to putting the other car's license plate in. And as soon as that happened and I realized that, I heard that voice. I heard that voice just telling me, how could I be so stupid? And I moved too fast. And what was I even doing? And I need to be more present. And as soon as I just got that awareness, I was just like, oh my goodness. Isn't it funny how I said that I wanted to practice self-kindness, self-love, self-compassion? And here I made this mistake, and let me try to practice this right now in this moment. What a great opportunity for me to practice this. It's these moments that we can use as practice, and you need to start reframing some of these challenging moments that come up, because if you want to practice more self-kindness, you're going to be faced with challenges that are going to test that. If you want to practice something else, you're going to be faced with challenges that are going to test that. So it's about welcoming it in. The only way for us to practice self-kindness is to experience moments of self-criticism. And the best thing that we can do is to become aware of the criticism and to choose kindness in that moment. And then the next time we become aware of it, choose kindness in that moment. And every little choice of kindness is what is going to add up, that's going to shift that self-critical talk to a voice that is filled with kindness. This book that I was reading this morning on nervous system regulation, one of the questions they asked in there was, would you want to be best friends with that inner voice in your head? And I think a lot of us would say, absolutely not, please. Like, no way do I want to be best friends with that inner voice in my head. But that is so sad, because we face that inner voice every single moment of every single day. And isn't it so sad that so many of us would not even want to be best friends with that inner voice? I think that's really sad. So I want you to think about, what would it look like for you to actually be best friends with that inner voice? And what would that inner voice have to turn into in order for you to be best friends with it? Habit number 9 is to incorporate micro moments of slowness throughout your day. Slowing down is so nourishing for our nervous system state, because a lot of us, we're just rushing. We have so many expectations of everything that we need to do in a day. And oftentimes those expectations are way higher than the actual amount we have in a day to complete any sort of tasks. So what that keeps us stuck in is it keeps us stuck in this loop of constantly not feeling good enough, of constantly feeling like we need to do more and that we'll feel better about ourselves, but that time just never ever comes. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to just learn how to slow down. Because slowing down is nourishing for your nervous system state. When we're stuck in the stress state, everything in our body literally speeds up. Your heart rate speeds up, your blinking rate speeds up, your digestion speeds up. Versus when we actually slow down, that's when we're in the calm state. Our body's in the calm state, and everything in our body slows down when we're in the calm state. So we want to not necessarily have to go through our entire day being slow, but finding these micro moments of slowness throughout our day. So for example, if you're showering, right, you're just like always rushing and you're putting the soap in your hair, slow down. Are you brushing your teeth just like really, really fast? Just like slow down when you're doing that. Or eating food, for example, that is one of the best times that you can actually slow down for yourself and really chew your food properly. Because when we are eating food in the stress state, that actually makes our digestion so much worse. So if you can just slow down as you're eating your food, you're going to notice such a big difference in your nervous system state and overall how you're feeling. Other ways that I slow down in my life is when I'm going on walks, I try to walk a bit slower. So even if I'm just walking from my car to the clinic, I just make sure I'm doing that a little bit slower. Or as I'm cooking food, I'll be a little bit slower. Lately, what I have really started to love, so I used to hate grocery shopping, and lately I've started to love it. And it's because I've taken this grocery shopping aspect that I can't take out of my life. Well, I mean, I could, but honestly, I like to be able to go and make my own food choices. And so that's why I just like to go to the grocery store at least once a week and just do it myself. And now it's become this experience for me to just actually nourish and support my nervous system state. I'll be in the grocery store going a lot slower and looking at the vegetables and the colors and just having this like really beautiful slow experience with it. And I've started to just love it. So sometimes just think about some of the things that you don't like doing during the day and how can you make that experience of doing the thing just feel a bit more better and more nourishing for yourself. And oftentimes, if we can do it a bit slower and really immerse ourselves in it, that on its own can make a big difference with it. So honestly, try it. If you're going grocery shopping this week, try it at some point. Come back to this video, comment, and let me know how that experience was for you. Just go slow. Just look at the bright colors of everything, read the things on the package slower, and just move through a bit slower and just watch how much more of an enjoyable experience it becomes. The very last tip, which is going to be the most revolutionary one for you, is to use your breath as an anchor to ground you in any moment that you are in. When we can take deep breaths from our belly, and I don't mean shallow breaths from your chest, because a lot of us, we're doing chest breathing all throughout the day. And because we breathe from our chest, we actually keep our nervous system more in the stress state. What I'm talking about is taking these really deep breaths from your belly, because when you breathe from your belly, it actually activates a nerve called the vagus nerve. And when that vagus nerve is activated, your body immediately shifts into the parasympathetic nervous system state. And when your body's in that parasympathetic nervous system state, everything's so much better. You've automatically shifted yourself into the calm state, and you're going to notice such a big difference in your ability to regulate your emotions, your thoughts, and just what you are feeling throughout the day. So, I want you to understand that your body has this built in system to help you be calm in any moment that you are in. And so, learning how to just breathe from your belly. So, what you want to do is when you're breathing in from your nose, you want to imagine there's a balloon in your belly that you are inflating. And then, when you breathe out even slower through your mouth, you want to imagine the balloon in your belly and how the balloon is like deflating. And you always want to make sure that your exhale is slower than your inhale, because if your exhale is slower than your inhale, that actually puts your body way more into the calm nervous system state. So, breathing like this all throughout the day, all of these little breaths that you take actually become micro moments for your nervous system where it can come down to the calm state, come down to the calm state, come down to the calm state. And the best part about this breathing exercise is you can do this anywhere. I'll do this, when I have meetings or even in sessions with patients and nobody realizes this. I'll do this while I'm driving, while I'm waiting in line for coffee, while, I'm just doing anything. I'll take a few deep breaths. The more that you can take these deep breaths, the more that you're going to be able to regulate your nervous system state. So whenever you're just like, my nervous system is dysregulated, I'm overstimulated, I'm overwhelmed, just take a breath. Take a breath, probably a few breaths, because you probably need to take a few until your body can really come into the calm state. The great thing is that the more that you practice it, the better and easier it gets for you. Initially, it would have to take me like 10-15 minutes of deep breathing like this to shift my state. But now I can take 2 to 3 deep breaths and my calm nervous system state automatically gets turned on, because my brain is trained. My brain is trained to know that when we breathe like this, we are in the calm state. So use your breath as an anchor. These are the 10 simple habits that I have for you to test out and try and incorporate in your day to help you regulate your nervous system state. I would encourage you, take a few of these and sprinkle them all throughout the day and then see what works for you so that you can build that routine for yourself. Remember, it's the simple things and consistently over time that are going to make the biggest difference for your nervous system state. And if you want more personalized one-on-one nervous system support, I invite you to book a free discovery call with me. You can check out the link below. I also have a free quiz that I've created for you. If you want to know what your nervous system state needs right now in this very moment, take the quiz to find out, and it'll tell you if your nervous system needs safety, or maybe it needs recovery, or maybe it needs capacity or integration or stability. So you can figure out what it needs. And then I have a free guide for you based on what your answer is that you can take to find out how to really start supporting yourself with simple strategies today.